The 2023 NBA offseason is here. NBA free agency is set to begin soon. Prior to the actual start of free agency, we've seen several trades and moves around the league. In this video, we're going to talk about some of these and grade them in terms of how good of a move was it for that team. Without further ado, we will begin with the notable move that kicked off the new season, the Washington Phoenix trade.
With the Pacers on the side,
That sent Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, and Isaiah Todd to Phoenix in exchange for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, Pacers 7 pick, 4 first-round pick swaps, and 6 second-round pick swaps. Sheesh.
What?
Pacers received the 8th pick from the Wizards and 2 future second-round picks. The finalized trade is very different from when it was originally reported. Initially, everyone talked about how could the Wizards do this and what a horrible trade this was. But now, hearing the actual trade details, it's actually not that bad. Don't get me wrong, it's still not good. It's a lot better than what I originally thought. I'm going to give it Washington a D+. While they got a bunch of pick swaps, it's nowhere near as valuable as having an actual pick. Bradley Beal needed to be moved, we get it. But how on earth did this man get a no trade clause? This dude is already getting paid $50 million, and you're giving him the most powerful thing you can give to a player on top? His agent needs to have his jersey retired in the Agent Hall of Fame, if it's a thing, is all I have to say. I believe Washington could have gotten a lot more if Beal did not have this power over them. But it is what it is. Let's move on to Phoenix. Very early, we had reports that Phoenix was in direction of moving away from Chris Paul, and when I heard they were interested in the Bradley Beal situation in Washington, I thought there was no way. With what money? They already have 3 players on a max, so when they actually did the trade, this raised red flags all around. While yes, the Suns can move Aiden, and that will open up space to get 1-2 solid mid-tier players for depth, and had the chance to do so. This is a tricky situation where you are paying 4 guys $163 million. That's insane. The Suns are about to have a 2K generated bench, and yeah, they got the best player in the trade. But did you see how he just did Washington? This man has no doubt the worst contract in the league. I'm going to give Phoenix a C grade. For the Pacers, who really cares? They just moved a spot back and got 2 second-round picks for it. B grade. Next, we have the Celtics Grizzlies Wizards trade, with the Celtics receiving Kristaps Porzingis and 2 first-round picks, Grizzlies acquiring Marcus Smart, and Wizards getting Tyus Jones, Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and a second-round pick. The Wizards are terrorizing the league with these trades. I know you want to rebuild, but at the same time are trading your stars for just about nothing. Tyus Jones is a capable player. Many think he's the best backup point guard in the league. Still, he's nowhere near the level of Porzingis. But the main thing that bothers me is the lack of picks they have gotten. You are now in a rebuild, and that's great, but don't you at least want some draft capital? Washington's moves might be better left unquestioned. I'm giving them a C-. Let me just tell you, Brad Stevens is not playing around. You traded for Porzingis and got more first-round picks than the Wizards for it. This could put Boston over the top to win the championship. I think Porzingis relatively has been underrated these past couple of seasons. He's qualified to be a second option for a contender, so add him to a team with Tatum and Brown, where now he might be the 3rd option. That's scary. But they did not make this happen so easily. They had to give up Marcus Smart to the Grizzlies. Again, Porzingis is hands down the best player in this trade. I believe Smart was a core piece for the Celtics, so when you remove said core piece, it's risky. You can't doubt the impact he had on the culture. So only time will say. I give the Celtics an A. On the other side, the trade with the Grizzlies trading for Smart definitely had something to do with the Ja suspension. And Smart is a great replacement, but when Ja does come back, will this make Smart their 6th man? Who knows? They did give a hefty amount, but Grizzlies ownership has shown they don't plan to keep their picks floating around. I'll give them a B. Next is the Wizards Warriors trade, with the Warriors getting Chris Paul, while the Wizards received Jordan Poole, Ryan Rollins, a first-round pick, and 1 second-round pick. I think this was more of a trade to get rid of Poole, incoming max extension. Poole's contract was and is a mistake, so with the new CBA and then Draymond extension coming up, one of the two had to get moved, and it was Poole. Chris Paul on the Warriors, who would have thought? This provides the Warriors an elite ball handler to help Curry. Will this make them a better team? I don't think so. Chris Paul is 38, and unless his addition makes them way better, I don't anticipate him staying longer than this season. I give the Warriors a C-. But for Washington, I love this for them. Yes, you're going to overpay Jordan Poole, and he's now their best player, so maybe in his new role, he can possibly come his worth. Who knows? Just hope there is more baddies in DC than there was in the Bay. I graded an A+. The Timberwolves extend Naz Reid on a 3-year, $42 million. He was a free agent, looked closely in the league. and a big contributor to the Wolves off the bench. It's a decent extension. The problem is now you're paying double figures for another center. That's $90 million next season for Reed, Gobert, and Cat. This does open the option to either trade Gobert or Cat and have Reed on standby as the second main big guy on the team, but maybe they don't and decide to run with it. B-. Following up, we have the Hawks Jazz trade, where finally John Collins has been moved from Atlanta in exchange for Rudy Gay and a second round pick. This is a trade that was talked about every season. It's clear that for this Hawks team to take a next step, it can't be with Collins. I'm sure fans are grateful for his contribution in the Hawks 2021 playoff run, but he does get paid an enormous amount for someone of his capability. This trade allows Atlanta to free up space and try something new. Still, while the trade might look like for a bum, John Collins is not a bum. He is a really solid player, a fourth option for a contender. He won't find that with the Jazz, considering it's a role player haven. Collins is not a game changer, but never in a million years would Collins enter free agency and say, I want to go to Utah. That is just not happening. Plus, the biggest part of this is that you traded Rudy freaking Gay for him. Essentially, you swapped a 9th or 10th option for a 4th option. While this was a move expected from the Hawks, I'm surprised they basically got nothing from the trade. I'm going to give Atlanta a C-, but for the Jazz, they are hitting the right check marks for a team rebuilding, taking someone like John Collins, and they are going to be a better team for it. B+.